Okay, I'm coming to y'all. It's like raw, just off the cuff, because I feel like there's something that I need to say for our culture in a sense. So for Black people, I'm American Black, you don't have to be American, but I'm a Black American person. Some people call us African American. I think there's some questions about that title, but for Black people, and especially Black American people, because I can relate to that sentiment a little bit more, I feel like the powers of our ancestry have been stripped from us, and now we're in this little chess game that we're playing with our government or governments, depending on where you live, to get that power back and to get back things that we had rights to, like money and land and ancestral claim. And I feel like we have been indoctrinated, and obviously systematically, by our government and the powers that be, the 1% and all that good stuff, to beg for things that belong to us ancestrally. And so I'm making this video because I wanted to say that stand up. I wanted to say stand up. I wanted to say stand up in your power, because my ancestors were talking to me just now. I'm watching this video, white woman, British woman, and she's talking about going back and talking to her ancestors and forgiving them for things they had to do and, sacrifices they had to make that led to money blockages within her ancestral lineage and, led to money blockages within her. And as soon as I started listening to this meditation, and it's no shade to this woman or anything like that, as soon as I started listening to this meditation, something in my spirit welled up of we have so much power. I talk to my ancestors daily. My grandma was talking to me during this thing. I literally was we have so much fucking power. I have such a powerful lineage. It's crazy that I would sit down and have my ancestors apologize for the shit that we were assimilated into. Just saw 222 as well. We're not apologizing for shit. We're standing up in our power. We're taking our power back. Every time that Black people have built wealth in this country, it has been come to be burned down. And we're not doing it anymore. I understand that there's systems that led me to be here and led me to not be financially where I want to be, whatever. I claim all my rights. I claim everything that my ancestry is owed. I claim my ancestral power. And no one can take that away. So I pulled some cards to just kind of direct my thoughts, because my ancestors gave me a message, but my head was just all over the place. So I pulled the cards to just give me some direction. The first card that came out is the Nine of Cups, which is telling me that we have some sort of accolades within the spiritual realm, but also the fact that the man on this card, the first card that I pulled, is a Black man, is another confirmation of what I was seeing. This card was giving me the energy of acknowledging the work that our ancestors already did. So basically, take Saturn, for example. I know some people don't believe in astrology, but if you don't, just take it as a metaphor. Saturn is a planet that is the planet of discipline. And when you work hard and you are disciplined, Saturn then rewards you. It's actually the planet with the best rewards, even though some people try to attribute that to Jupiter. Saturn rewards fully as long as you put the effort and the work in. And this card, I'm seeing that our ancestry has already put the work in. You got to think we were enslaved for 400 plus years. And then even that, not even free. And then the freedom that we just recently obtained about 50 years ago are already being stripped as we speak right now. So the powers that be, the 1%, the government, Rockefeller, all that good shit, they know that the only thing blocking us from our blessings is the mental capacity to step into that blessing. And that's why, and I'm not going to go into too many I wouldn't even consider conspiracy theories. These things are true. And that's why, our food is poisoned. That's why, they introduce drugs into our neighborhoods, crack and all that good stuff, weed, whatever. That's why our hair products are poisoned. That's why people are developing cancer from our products, like black focused products, especially like perms and things like that. And it's so that we can focus on all that is going wrong with us, so we cannot focus on all the blessings that our ancestors have stored up in the ethers for us. And so that we cannot reach those things because our mind is on something else. Our mind is on our health. Our mind is on, mostly health, honestly, but also on the issues within our neighborhood. Our mind is on how black men, aren't living past 23 in certain areas. Our mind is on those things, not the stored karmic debt. Is what I was getting to. So in the first card, it just already gives me a story of how people who look like this have worked for, how long is a century? 100 years? So centuries. Worked for centuries, and all that work has accumulated a certain amount of spiritual wealth that has not yet been tapped into. I'm sure there are some black people tapping into it, but majority of us have not tapped into it. And that comes down to the mental. That comes down to the daily struggle that they put us in, so that way you won't tap into that mental. I would say the only serious work that the 1% do is seriously trying to trap us in the mental gymnastics of everything else going on in life and keep our energy low, keep us depressed, keep us underdiagnosed and all those things, and in systems that don't work for our brain. So that way we don't tap into that higher understanding and what's waiting for us in the higher realms. The second card that came out was the King of Wands. And again, I'm just taking in all this abyss in the background. And again, to me, symbolizing how much we have stored up, how much karmic debt we have stored up in the astral realms, and how much our ancestors have worked for that debt for that, inheritance to befall us. And I'm seeing with the King of Wands that the work that we need to do is not this physical labor that we are told, will make us have money, will make us financially free, whatever. The work that we need to do, the action that we need to take with the King of Wands is the action of understanding that it belongs to us. The action of understanding this is mine. That is the only work that we need to do. Now you have passions, ideas, dreams that you have talent and skill in that you can utilize as a stream for this revenue to come down, for this financial freedom to come down. But if you're doing jobs that aren't your passion, if you're a nurse just for nurse sake, or a doctor for doctor's sake, or going to college for college sake, but none of those things really resonate with what your soul's purpose is telling you, then you are just in a rat race. You're in the hamster wheel, right? We're in the trap of hard work versus understanding that anything worth having comes from our natural intuition, and we can be relaxed in creating that life. We can be relaxed. And some of us are so dialed into the rat race that we don't believe that we can relax and still obtain things. We are taught that we need to work 2, 3, 4 jobs, that you are a single parent and then you come home, and you parent and then you go to work 8 hours, 10 hours, 16-hour shifts. And then you come home and you do that all again. And name somebody rich that does that. Name somebody that wealthy that that does that. The true creativity and true intuition can only be expressed within levels of relaxation. That's why Google employees have those set times off where they're just supposed to relax and just come up with whatever they would want to do. And their most genius ideas have come out of that downtime. The only thing that working hard produces is burnout. That's not to say that we can't put effort into the things that we want, but that's to say that we've been taught we have to put the max amount of effort, which the max amount of effort does not equal the max amount of outcome, does not equal the max amount of financial security, whatever. It equals burnout. And so we are burnt out from overworking. We are then if you ever looking at black women and men and wonder why they look so mad, or, oh, why is that black woman have such an attitude? Most people do not have some built-in attitude, some built-in anger. We're literally burnt out, and then we're depressed, and then it shows up that way. Some people get depressed and they cry. Some people can't afford to do that. Mostly black people. We can't afford to get depressed and curl up in the ball and not do anything. We get depressed, and then we have this armor on, and we're burnt out and we're tired and we're depressed, and then we still have to be somewhere. We still have to do that thing. And then we still want to reach some amount of social time or family time or whatever. And you cannot give your best because you are physically burnt out. And that's what the system produces. That's what they would like us to be. That's where they would like us to be. So that we have all this ancestral, financial freedom, money, whatever, waiting for us in the ancestral plane, waiting for us. Your grandma passed on and she's trying to knock on your door like, bitch, I understand now. Like the money's right here, but we're so burnt out that we're not even being attached to our ancestors. We're not even seeing the messages that they're sending us. We're not even paying attention to the clock when it says 222 and 202. We're not, and speaking of 202 right now, we're not paying attention to, the messages that our ancestors are giving us because we are focused on the worldly things, and we are depressed from working too hard and burning out. So the next card that I have here is the Wheel of Fortune. So to me, again, showing all this, it's the Wheel of Fortune, and it's in the clouds, right? It's in the ethers, right? It's birds, it's, ascended masters, whatever. It's in the ethers. So there's all this money, all this financial freedom that we have. And again, I feel like a lot of us are attached to this idea of like this hard and fast idea of money being this concrete thing, when in reality, money is only an idea. And that's the information I'm getting from this card as well. So you got to think the actual physical money that we use is just paper, right? What did Lindsay Lohan say in Mean Girls? Like, it's just plastic. Like, it's just paper, right? We could rip it up and it would mean nothing. It would mean nothing. If there's some days where the value of $1 is less than $1, right? Because it's a idea. It's a made up concept. When you look in your bank account on your phone, that's just a number. That's not money. You're not touching physical money. You're not even touching the paper, right? You're just tapping, you're just whatever. And it's just an idea of money. So because money is only an idea, then that means the only things between you and that idea is your relationship, your mental relationship with money. So you change your idea to match that idea, and you're on the same frequency as money. But we're taught that we have to do all this physical work, and we have to go out here and do this and work hard and blah, 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 blah. And do not get me wrong. There's a certain level of diligence that we need to have in our lives. But diligence does not mean hard work, does not mean burning out, does not mean working 3 jobs, does not mean, whatever. Whatever you're doing right now does not mean going to school to be a nurse when you don't even want to be a nurse and you have no fucking you don't care about them people. Not to say that, but seriously, there's some people who are just working in fields like being a doctor or being a nurse because of the financial benefit and because it's a job that's always going to be there, when they don't actually have a passion for those things. Maybe those people wanted to be an artist, or maybe that person wanted to be whatever, but we're putting ourselves there because we have the wrong association with money, and we just need to associate better to the idea of money because we have it stored up. Anyway, my final message is we make the money. We create the money. We create the financial stress or financial relief. We create financial abundance or financial deficit. We create all of it. And I'm looking at this card, and she's making money. It's a hammer and a nail, whatever. She's physically making the coins. The way that we make money is through the mental. Because reality is, and again, I already said this, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but that's the reason why it's so prevalent that they spread misinformation. It's so prevalent that we be kept in cycles of disbelief. It's so prevalent that our food be poisoned, that our hair products be poisoned. It's so prevalent that we be kept down to having to worry about so many other things that we don't realize, oh shit, I make the money in this bitch. I create the money. The money is only in my head. It's only in my head. It's only what I believe I can have. And a lot of us don't believe we can have more than we have because of the systems in play, the systems at work. And that's why my ancestors have sent me to give this message to the people who are ready to hear it, is that it's time that we just believe in our own ability, in the inner power, in the fire that we feel within inside of our fucking bellies, because we are so ancient and so powerful that they have to work overtime and double and triple. The only thing they work hard on in this country is to try to keep us down, because they know that we have so much ability and so much power. Not saying other people don't, saying we have the most ancestrally. Sorry, had to be the one to say it. Somebody had to say it. Wonder why our culture sets the tone for everything in this fucking world, is because we have the most ancestral power. We did the work. Our ancestors worked diligently for over 400 years. Diligently, without pay, without anything. They worked forcibly and diligently because they had to. And who gets to reap the benefit? Their ancestors, the people down their generational line. And those people are us. So make a decision today to accept the benefits and rewards of your ancestral work. We deserve it.